Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is part 11 of this unboxing series. Um, it's something cool unboxing series. I don't know. It's a work in progress in terms of the name, but each video so far has had some pretty interesting, cool things. Maybe some books a bit under the radar. Well, this episode, these are going to be a lot of my comic shop. Like little ding auction wins that I had. I won some pretty cool auctions at my comic shop, and I got some pretty cool slabs. So these are all slabs. It's a big stack. We're gonna start out with some eBay ones that I won, and I won these so cheap. I felt a little bit bad because I got them for a really great price. There's this one. It's an old slab, actually. This is an old slab case. You can tell, like, just the old style slab. It's not as quite as thick as the new ones. This is Saint number 8. And if you watch the other video, I showed another Saint that I picked up. I almost had the run. I'm getting pretty close to getting the full run of the Saint. Some really cool Good Girl art covers. This one's interesting. It's I'm not sure what's going on, actually. Looks like a photographer, like she's like a reporter or a photographer. She's taking a picture, and it's like a painted cover. It's a very odd one. So yeah, just a kind of a cool one. The cover is, it doesn't, all it says is painted cover. It doesn't say who did the painting, which is interesting. This is, yeah, early slab. Maybe they didn't denote all that extra stuff. But this is number 8 from 1950. And it's weird. With God, all things are possible. Very interesting. So yeah, a little bit of a religious thing on the back. That's something you wouldn't see in comics nowadays. It's kind of interesting to see it, actually. Next one is Chamber of Chills, number 10. You know, there's a bunch of Chamber of Chills that, like, you can see I picked up a pretty major Chamber of Chills that are sort of lower on the totem pole, I guess. Chamber of Chills 19 is the big one. But there's some pretty cool covers, actually, within the series. They don't go for nearly as much. I was actually working out a deal with Yaniv, or Stray Flexing, and we were looking at certain books, and he was showing me ones that he had that he was trying to sell. And he had this one, and he actually had the original art for this comic, for the cover. I was like, oh, that's pretty impressive. But he also had an extra copy of the actual comic. And I guess he had bought a raw copy. It was probably a 3 to 4. And I think he wanted like 180 or something like that. Well, I saw this one on eBay graded for cheaper. I just couldn't. I said, I'm sorry, I can't really do that. So sometimes I feel bad that, you know, I can't, you know, buy the book that they want or sell because, you know, there's a better price elsewhere. Why would you pay more? So I felt bad for Yaniv. He's trying to sell it. He paid too much for it, I think. But this just shows you how inexpensive this one is. You know, you compare this to Chamber of Chills 19, classic cover. Cover really does matter. Probably equally good stories inside, but that classic cover just drives the price up. So Chamber of Chills 19, I think it goes for $4,000 per point. It's just like, so you get a 1.0, it's still like $4,000 or $5,000, maybe even more, maybe more like $6,000. And this one in a 4.0 is like maybe $100, $180. So just really shows you how much, you know, certain key issues go for compared to the rest of the thing. Now, back in the day, actually, it's kind of interesting. Overstreet, before there was the Gerber guide and all that kind of stuff, they would just list, you know, 1 through 5, and it would be a certain price. And then 6 through 10, it would be another price. And or maybe all the way up the run, and it would be just the set price. I should almost pull out an old guide. And this book would have been, at the time, the same price as 19. Now, would people really sell it for that price? I don't know, but that's what the guide was. And it wasn't until the Gerber guide came out that people realized, hey, this cover is a bit better than this cover. And they sort of started pulling out these major books as being kind of more significant and therefore commanding bigger dollars. But back in the day, they were all in the same little bracket. I wish I could have bought those books back then. But yeah, Chamber of Chills number 10, 1952. And it's covered by Lee Elias. Same guy that did Chamber of Chills 19, but just not as well loved as Chamber of Chills 19. So I just figured I'd tell you that little story. Okay, now we get into my comic shop slabs. Those both I were from eBay. And these ones I won these in a recent auction. Some of these are not, but some of these are from the auction, some of these are not. Okay, what's this one? Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah. So I misspoke before. I think I showed in one of the previous unboxings, and I was trying to remember the character's name. And I was like, I was like stumbling. I was like, Time Wave. I was just like making up some random character name. And I couldn't remember the character's name because it's not one that I'm super familiar with. But as I've been reading more and more, like 90s and 80s, or 90s actually, 90s and 2000s DC books, which I really didn't read that many unless it was Batman title. You know, I'm learning about different characters that I was not familiar with. One of the characters that I was not familiar with was the Monarch, and another one was the Wave Rider. Now, Wave Rider is a really cool character. As I said in the other video, I totally messed it up. What Wave Rider, what he can do is he can literally touch you and see your future, see your past, see every possible timeline for you. He's like sort of a man outside of time. And basically what happens is in the future, there's a powerful being where they don't know where this powerful being came from, but they know that the Monarch is basically ruler of the earth and basically destroying the world. And he was trying to find out, like almost like a detective story, is Superman the one that went down that dark path? So there's this basically a story where you see that, you know, that progression in Superman, where he becomes almost dark. He almost goes down that dark path. He loses Lois Lane. He goes down a very dark path, and almost was very similar to the Justice League movie in a way, where they were kind of setting up that potential future where Superman would go down a dark path, and he would, you know, Lois Lane would be dead. He would, you know, freak out and maybe start taking justice into his own hands in terms of, you know, being the ultimate authority in society. So I became kind of enamored with this Wave Rider character, and I wanted to get his first appearance. Well, he made his first appearance in this book, and this is a very affordable book, by the way. So if you ever want to get a very affordable key, this is Armageddon 2001. It's the first appearance of the Monarch and the first appearance of the Wave Rider. And if you see right up here, I think this is the Wave Rider, and I think behind him is the Monarch. So just a really cool book where it sets up that Armageddon situation. So with the Monarch. So it's really interesting. So yeah, that's what you get from, you know, going to these book clubs where we're reading comics that normally we wouldn't read. You know, we're each inspiring each other to read different books, and I actually really enjoy it. Where I've been doing this with Biggie Shack, D-Runk, and Matt, who likes comics. the four of us have been doing this show, and I've been really enjoying it. I've been like really going out of my comfort zone in terms of the books that I normally would read. So yeah, it's been a pretty good experience. Okay, so this next one is another Lee Elias. I just showed a Lee Elias cover with Chamber of Chills. This is another Lee Elias, but this is a different genre. So he did horror, and he's very well known for doing horror, like with Chamber of Chills, for example. But he also was the main artist for the Black Cat, and I really like the Black Cat. So this is a Lee Elias Black Cat cover, and it is Black Cat number 19 from Harvey Comics, or Publications, I mean, from 1949, and it's the Black Cat Western. I believe this might be actually the first Black Cat Western. So Black Cat was one of those titles that kind of went through a bunch of phases. If you notice behind me, right there, that is Black Cat number 1. And she's like a Hollywood like starlet who kind of moonlights as a superhero. Well, in later, I guess they had to embrace the Westerns. So in this one, she becomes a Western, Black Cat Western. And later than that, it actually switches to horror title. So I think in the third issue, like 35 or 36, somewhere around there, it becomes Black Cat Mystery. And then she's actually forced right out of the book altogether, and it's just horror related title. And then later on, it comes back to being a Black Cat, like with her. This is the Black Cat. So it's just kind of an interesting little series in that respect, that it goes all over the place. But in the original one, she has a motorcycle. In the Black Cat Western, we got a horse. I think I prefer the motorcycle, but it's a really cool book. And we got the story of the boy getting sand kicked in his face or something, probably. You know, the typical, you know, you work out, kid, become strong. You can beat up your bullies. So yeah, so Black Cat Western, really cool book. Lee Elias cover, awesome stuff from 1949. Okay, next one. Let's see what this next one is. Oh wow, okay, so this is one of the big auction wins that I got, and I was really happy to win this. Now this one, this is one where it would be a good candidate to send out to somebody to crack and try to fix. I'm not sure if it's fixable though. We'll find out in about 2 seconds here. I don't even know if it's fixable. Like from the pictures, I wasn't sure. And I'm less confident that it is fixable. So there was this one really weird auction that my comic shop had, where they had a really rare book, a series actually. One of the rare kind of very similar to Archie spin-offs, or like a kind of Archie, similar to Archie, even had Dan DiCarlo working on it, was a title called Jetta. And for some reason, they had all the issues from the run. I was only missing one, so I was really focused on getting that one. But they had all the issues. But the weird thing was, the copies that they had were all, annoyingly, they had like this massive label put on them, right over the cover, right over the artwork too, which is just like, why? Why would you put a big label on a comic covering the artwork? Well, that's what somebody did. Now, the other copies, they decided not to remove that label. And probably this comic explains why. So this is the one I needed. This is the one I missed from my collection. Now I have the complete Jetta run. But I might have to get another copy of this. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll show you. So you can see, as I said, massive label was put on the book. Why would somebody do that? Why? Why just, I mean, it's just such a beautiful cover. Why would you put this crazy big label? Now, the label is gone, obviously, now, but you can see that it has removed much of the, of the paper / art. slash it's left residue as well. Now, when I looked at it through the pictures on my comic shop, I thought maybe it's one of those cases where the label's been removed, but what you're seeing here is just residue from the label itself, but maybe with a nice wash or something where you can just sort of loosen it off, or like heat, something where it just fall off and you could then have a beautiful cover. And the reason this is a 2.0 is because of this damage, okay? It looks like, it's hard to say. Like, it looks like, I mean, I look here, you see it's just perfectly normal. And it looks like there's maybe, it's residue on the cover, but I'm not sure. It's like one of those ones you'd have to, it looks like there is some color loss. So I'm not sure if it's even salvageable. It's such a cool cover too. Such a shame. But I'm still happy to have this book. I've been looking for this book for a while. It's super rare, like less than 10 on the census. And I got it for a great price because of this issue. But yeah, it's frustrating. This is the first issue, by the way. First issue of the series. Zoomer backup story. Dan DeCarlo cover, 1952. And these Jettas are really fun. It's kind of like the Jetsons, very similar to the Jetsons, many years before the Jetsons ever came out. And it's Dan DeCarlo. It's got very Archie feel, Jetsons feel mix. And just really fun stuff. Like a lot of similar kind of humor to the Jetsons where, it's that futuristic thing. I think in the next issue, there's like a thing where she builds a robot and the robot falls in love with her. Crazy stuff. And here's the back. The back's beautiful. Why didn't they put the label on the back? I would have, if the damage was on the back, I wouldn't have cared. But oh well. What do you guys think? Did I make a mistake buying this? It was very inexpensive. Normally this book goes for like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. I got it for low hundred range, but yeah, it's a cool book. Sadly, I'm not sure if it's salvageable. It looks like a little bit of color loss, so I don't know. It was a gamble on my part. I was thinking maybe. I don't usually crack and press things or crack and clean things, but that was one that had that sort of candidate look to it. Yeah, but it's such a shame. It's such a beautiful comic too. Okay. Okay, next one. So these are all from the same auction. Okay. Okay, interesting one. I thought this one was really cute. In the previous video, I'm not sure when I showed it, but in one of the videos before, I showed a really great Margie cover. It's actually the first appearance of Stan Lee in comics, the one I showed in a previous video. So I recommend you watch the previous videos because I show that. It's a really cool book. But this is another Margie. I keep on saying Marjorie, but it's Margie. And it's just a really cool, series because you got the girl and she's like totally upset with the guy and he's like pleading to get her attention and everyone's like, shut up, it's like late at night, just leave us, just stop, just do whatever, right? Stop being annoying. So yeah, this is a really great Margie comic. And it's actually pretty high grade. I got this for like 150, I think it was a pretty good price for the grade. And it's a Rusty backup story. Hey Look by Harvey Kurtzman as well. And Maury Weiss and Harvey Kurtzman Stories and Art from 1948. Really great Good Girl one. This is when Marvel was all in on doing Good Girl. So many different titles that they did. Margie, Georgie, Tessie, Millie. Patsy Walker, just so many titles. And this one, I'm getting really into Margie. I'm well into them all. I think they're all great. So I'm picking up like all these different Marvel Good Girl books. So I noticed that there's actually some more in this than I thought. There's actually a bunch of raw books. They were kind of mixed in. And I'll pull these ones out as well. So we got some cool stuff here. Okay, so one of the auctions that I won was for Dick Tracy, of all things. But these ones were really weird. Like, I was like, my goodness, some of the covers on Dick Tracy are pretty wild. And I thought this one was pretty wild. This is Dick Tracy. And these go for really cheap. I think I paid like $2 or something. It was like insanely cheap. But look at this. He's like doing like, the guy's in bondage. They're beating on him. Like literally beating on him. Dick Tracy comes in to save him though. He's in bondage. And they're doing like a lighter on his feet. And his feet are actually smoking. Isn't that insane? Wow. I just like so crazy. This was Dick Tracy number 37. Really crazy cover. Like, and you got the old woman just like, oh, so sad. It's like, what are you doing? And I don't know, it's just so crazy. Crazy cover. Okay, next one is another Dick Tracy. And this one, it's another crazy cover. Like, when I saw these, like, these were like, as I said, $2-3 each. This one, I can see why it was $2 or $3. It's in really rough shape. But I mean, it's just such a crazy cover. $2-3. I don't care. I just like, even though it's in really bad shape, I was like, okay, so look, this is what I'm talking about, bad shape. This is a 0.5 because it's just mangled. It's complete actually, but it's like got a lot of damage. But look at this cover. I mean, look at this. This is like, the woman is in like some kind of like electric chair. It looks like they have her like, you know, some motor down here and her like connected to it. And she's like, help, help. The bow is torturing my sister. Okay, I guess it's her twin sister. And the brow is torturing that because he's got like, I got a unibrow. The brow is torturing my sister. And look, he's got this like weird thing on her leg. It's like piercing her leg. And he's like, it's all electrified or something. I don't know. It's like so crazy. It's like, what are they doing? And you got Dick Tracy coming in to try to save her. The Case of the Torture Chamber. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Who knew Dick Tracy had so many cool covers? Too bad it's in such rough shape. The next one that actually, this was a best offer that I put in. And I just thought it was one that I always liked. I always thought this was a cool cover. Just so much going on it. Is The Thing. And this is The Thing number 11. And there's just like all these really crazy things. It's one of those just weird covers. Got this girl on the table. Maybe she's either passed out. I'm not sure what her status is. She looks kind of in a bit of a hard time. You got this like old crone, like gonna chop her up or something. I don't know what's going on there. You got this skeleton dude here, little demons all around him. Got this guy who's going, ooh. I don't know what's going on. Just really weird stuff going on. Like wild cover. So this is The Thing, number 11 from 1953 or 1954. Just a really cool, I'm not sure who is the publisher. Who's the publisher? Oh, Charlton. Okay, we got two more from the raw section. And I'll show one more slab as well. We got, this just came out. It was the free comic book day. I think, you know, it's $1. I just picked it up. I didn't know if I had it or not, so I didn't want to miss out on it. I collect Popeyes, so I just wanted to make sure I had it. It was cheap. The next one I picked up, and this was just, again, another cheap buy, but this is Normal Man number 1. I just thought, I picked up some other Normal Mans, so I thought, oh, might as well have the first issue. That was my logic. So this is Normal Man number 1. I just thought it was interesting. yeah. What else can I say? I don't know. But yeah, let me just get into the last slab. One last slab. Hopefully it's a goodie. Oh, that's a good one. Nice. Okay. Okay, this is a nice one. So another series, like I feel like I sound like I'm repeating myself all the time, where I say, oh, another series that I collect, and another series I collect, another series I collect. I feel like I collect every series. It's a comic. I collect all the comics. I don't know. But this is a series I do like. I think it's really cool. Is This Magazine is Haunted. And this one's just a really odd cover. Not an expensive book. Like, you know, it's a fairly good grade. It's but not an expensive book. This title has a lot of very affordable covers in it. There are some pretty cool covers. There's like one where the guy's fishing and he pulls out a decapitated head. I thought this one was also kind of interesting. Just this weird guy with the crazy teeth. And it looks like he's biting into the guy's neck. And I like the flames in the back. So I just kind of, I don't know, something about this cover appealed to me. I thought it was really interesting. What does it say? No one knows when the Dr. Death may strike in these blood-curdling tales of terror. And the cover is done by Seymour, is that a W or an M? Maska Witz cover. So, yeah. But I thought it was cool. I don't know who the artist is. I'm not familiar with that artist, but definitely a cool one. I thought it was interesting. From 1954. So I've been picking up This Magazine is Haunted. I think I'm like maybe 4 or 5 issues away from getting the entire run. I thought it was cool. Okay, that's it for this part. I hope you enjoyed my my comic shop orders. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And also, make sure that you go to the description of this video and give me a vote, if you can, for 1,000 to 5,000 range in the CBC Awards. There's a link in the description. You just go there, you click it. There's a big vote button. You click the big vote button. You'll see the 1,000 to 5,000 tier. There's 3 options for me to be voted for. I hope you vote for me in all 3. One is the best unboxing. The other is, which is this kind of video. The other is for best speculation. If you like my Sundays and Mondays videos, I do really a lot of speculation stuff where I talk about the hottest Silver and Golden Age books. Nobody else is doing that, so pretty cool. And the last one is for my Monday special, where every Monday evening, 7 o'clock Eastern time, I do a special with Steven, and we basically show some pretty major books that we've picked up. So definitely watch that show, and if you can, vote for it too. So again, thanks for watching. Bye for now.